Okay, good day. So for our recorded discussion, we will be dealing with atoms, molecules, and ions. We will also include naming of compounds, particularly ionic compounds, covalent, transition metals, and polyatomic ions. Okay, so let's begin. So we have here atomic number. So in our previous discussion, we know that atomic number is a unique to each element. So it is based simply on the number of protons in the nucleus. So the atomic number defines the identity of an element. So meaning, wala pong pare-parehas na proton. Okay? So, unique po ang proton number for each element. For example, so we have here lithium. So, your lithium has the atomic number of 3. So, therefore, the atomic number 3 is only solely to lithium. Another example, let's say we have here fluorine. The atomic number of fluorine is 9. So, wala pong ibang may atomic number na 9 bukod po kay fluorine. Okay? Next, let's say we have carbon. So, carbon has an atomic number of 6. Meaning, siya lang yung may number 6 na atomic number. And take note, the atomic number also corresponds to the number of protons. So, the atomic number defines the identity of an element. How about the mass number? So, the mass number is the sum or the total number of proton and neutron. Okay, so take note that the subatomic particle electron is not included whenever computing for mass number. So only the proton and neutron is added. For example, we have here neon. Neon is a novel gas element. It has a 10 proton and has a 10 neutron. Therefore, if we're going to ask what would be the mass number of this element, that would be 20 units. Okay? How about for carbon? So carbon has 6 protons and 6 neutrons. In total, we have 12 units. So as simple as adding your proton and neutron, you can get your mass number. So take note, in periodic table, sometimes the orientation of their element, mass number, atomic number, or the symbol itself is different. So to make it standard, let's say we have here these variables a, x, and z. Wherein your x represents the chemical symbol, your a as your mass number, and your z as your atomic number. Take note, their atomic number corresponds to the number of what? Of proton. And we have this principle wherein your proton is also equal to your what? Number of electrons. Hence, in some cases, your atomic number is equal to proton and also equal to the number of electron. So we have here magnesium. Magnesium has a 12 atomic number, 24 mass number, and a chemical symbol of capital M and small letter G. Hence the name magnesium. Next, we have here carbon. We have the mass number 12 and our atomic number 6. As simple as that. Next, we have here isotopes. So when we see isotopes, these are atoms of the same element that have the same number of protons but different numbers of neutrons. So let's say we have here carbon. In our periodic table, the only element that we can see is not based on the number of what? Neutrons, or let's say we have a standard or average atomic mass in the periodic table. However, these isotopes exist. Okay? Actually, our average atomic mass or average atomic mass number in the periodic table is based on the isotopes. Okay? So let's say we have here 3 isotopes of carbon. So we need to add the masses of these isotopes and multiply it with the percent abundance to get the average atomic mass. Okay? So, to make it short, so these isotopes are same element. Take note of that. But they don't have the same number of neutrons. Hence, the number of our mass number will be different. Okay? But take note, since elements, or let's say, the uniqueness of element is based on the number of protons, hindi mo pwedeng iba-iba pa yung proton. And take note that neutrons are the only thing na nagbabago dito. Since naapektuhan din niya yung mass number. Kasi nagbabago po yung neutron. So, let's practice. So, take note that we have this principle wherein our neutron, when added with proton, will give you what? Your mass number. Okay? Take note of that. Adding your proton with your neutron will give you the mass number. And take note that Z, or your atomic number, this Z na to, is also based on the number of proton. And we have the principle wherein our proton is also equal to electron. So in this case, as you can see, our proton corresponds to the number of Z, or atomic number, also to the number of electron. And adding proton and neutron will give you the atomic mass. So let's practice. So let's say we have here chlorine. So since the proton is 17, therefore our Z will be what? Will become, yes, it will become 17 as well. And adding your proton and neutron will give you what? 35. And take note, the atomic mass is different from the periodic table compared to this practice set. Because here, we are not using nearly accurate masses of those masses. Okay? So, whole number lang po muna siya. Para for, let's say, for general thought lang to. Kumbaga, para maintindihan nyo yung konsepto ng proton, neutron, electron, atomic number, and atomic mass. Next, so we have here mercury. So, since your mercury is 80, therefore, your electron will be also 80. And adding your proton and neutron, 80 plus 121, that will give you what? That will give you 201 mass. Next, we have here calcium. Adding your proton and neutron will give you your atomic mass. And that will become 40. So, since we have, again, the principle wherein your proton is 20, that will be also your Z. And that is 20. How about for isotopes? So again, the number of protons will be always the same. Right? The number of also of electrons will be the same because it is based on the number of protons. But the number of neutrons will be different because here, isotopes have different what? Different masses. And take note, the way we name these isotopes is based on the number of mass number. For example, for this one, instead of simply calling this as carbon, this will be known as carbon 12, this will be known as carbon 13, and this will be known as carbon 14. So subtracting your number of protons to the total mass will give you the value of your neutron. Hence, for this first isotope, we will have 6. For this one, we have 7. And lastly, 6 minus 14, we will be having 8. And that's how you compute for the subatomic particles based on their different isotopes. So I hope these things are clear to you. Okay. So let's proceed with ions. So ions is an atom or group of atoms that has an electric charge, either a positive or a negative charge. So take note of the term cation and anion. Whenever we encounter the term anion, it simply means that these are the ions that are negative in nature, meaning they are negative charge. And based on the periodic table, if we're familiar with the usage of periodic table, your anions, mostly non-metals, are residing on the extreme right corner of the periodic table, while your cation resides on the extreme left corner. Okay? So a type of ion that has a negative charge is your anion. Okay? For example, we have here fluorine. Fluorine has a what? Has a charge of negative. So why does your fluorine gain a negative charge? Okay, so we have to discuss this principle, the subshells. So take note that I'll be only simplifying this for you to get this concept. So we have the idea that your fluorine has an atomic number of 9. Okay, your number 9 represents the proton number. And we have the principle wherein your proton is also equal to the number of electron. Therefore, we can create what? Electron shells here. So, shells, by principle, so lalagay tayo ng shell, by theory po, ang unang shell po can occupy 2 electrons at max. Meaning, if you maximize this first shell, okay, it will be known as duplet. And take note, dalawa lang naman po yung parang pasok do sa duplet rule. And isa lang po yung categorized as stable element under sa duplet rule. And that is helium. Kasi yung hydrogen, hindi niya naman siya na kompleto eh. Unstable siya. So, for the first subshell po, okay, for the first subshell, again, drawing natin ulit, 2. Pangalawa, 7. Bakit po 7? Sir, sabi niyo po, for the first shell, dalawa lang po. Yes, that's true. Dalawa lang. Meaning, if excess na siya, you need to create another shell. Okay? Meaning, kung 2 to, then 7. And take note, for the succeeding shells, so para medyo madali intindihin, maximum natin ay 8 electrons. Therefore, for fluorine, ano po siya? Stable, unstable. Based on the second shell. This will be what? Yes. It is unstable element. And based on the principle wherein the first subshell must accommodate or it can accommodate 2 electrons at max. Duplet yun. Pag pangalawa na po or pangatlo, succeeding na, octet na yon. So kung octet rule siya, 8 electrons ang dapat ang nasa outermost layered shell. And that is known as, etong tinatawag natin tong outermost layered shell. Sir, pwede po bang 3 o 4? Pwede naman po. And take note that the last shell will be known as valence shell or outermost layered shell. And that will be our basis for the valence electron. In this case, we have 7. Kung 7 po ito, meron akong gagawing table para madalian po kayo. Pagka ang dulo po, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Pag 1 po ang dulo ng shell, lagi pong plus 1 yan. Pag 2 po, plus 2. Pag 3, plus 3. Pag 4 po, wala. Neutral po muna tayo dyan. Pag 5 po, minus 3. Pag 6 po, minus 2. Pag 7, minus 1. And pag 8, 0. Wala pong charge. Meaning, kapag 7 po ang valence electron nyo or outermost layered shell, ang charge po ng element ay negative 1. Kaya po, pag O, kung titignan natin dito, ilan po ang kanyang shell? Ilan ang electron sa valence shell niya or outermost layered shell? 6 po. Kung 6 po, what would be the charge of our oxygen? Kung 6 po, we have negative 2. Let's check. Right? Okay. Naintindihan yan? Sir, paano po pagka-cation naman? Tingnan yung cation. Sodium, naging Na plus 1. O, tingnan natin why. Because po, if we're going to draw the shell of our cation, our sodium will have this. Since 11 po yan, Na, 2, sunod, 8, sunod, 1. Okay? 2, 8, 1. Take note that the second shell can only accommodate 8 maximums. 8 maximum of electrons. So, the excess will be on the third shell. Doon siya malalagay. So, kung 1 po siya, anong charge niya? Based sa table kanina, ang 1 po ay plus 1. Kaya po, positive yan. Kung titignan natin dito, eto yan. Kung isa lang. What does it mean to have a cation or a negative charge? Kapag cation kasi, ito technique, metal po siya. Okay? With exception, the hydrogen atom. Anion siya, non-metal siya. And yung concept na cation, kapag positive po siya po yung nagbibigay ng electron. Kaya po siya positive. Nagbibigay po siya. And the anion receives the electron, kaya siya negative. kasi kulang siya. Ang ating cation ay sobra. So, pinamimigay natin tong sobrang isa na to for what? To satisfy the octet rule. Para mag-stable element siya. And that's the reason why our sodium chloride will be always compatible. Because your Na has a positive 1 and chlorine has a negative what? Negative 1 charge. Meaning, etong isa, bibigyan niya kay chlorine, si chlorine mag-receive ng isa galing kay sodium. And that will become both elements that are under stable conditions. So in summary, ions is an atom or group of atoms that has an electric charge. A type of ion that has a negative charge that is known as an ion. So a type of ion that has a positive charge will be known as cation. Sorry guys, cation to. Cations. Molecular and empirical formula. So, do not be afraid when you hear the word empirical. Actually, madali lang to eh. So, molecular formula or true regular formula shows the exact number and type of atoms in a single unit of the compound. While your empirical formula is the simplest type of chemical formulas that shows only the reduced form of molecular formula. So, for us to better understand it, let's say we have here a butane. Butane has a 4 carbon. So we write C4 and we count the number of hydrogen atoms, we have 10. Hence, the molecular formula will be based on the number of carbon and the number of hydrogen respectively. So this butane will have a molecular formula of C4H10. So when we say empirical formula, it will be what? Divisible by what? Itself. Kung ano yung pinakamataas sa pwedeng i-divide sa kanya. In this case, 2. So C4H10 will become what? C2H5. For glucose, for example, the chemical formula for glucose or molecular formula for glucose is C6H12O6. So, this molecular formula can be still reduced into what? Okay, mahahati pa siya sa dalawa, diba? Pwede pa siyang divided by 6. Maximum number eh. Simplest ka, diba? Kasi, diba? So, maging CH2O siya. Sir, question, what happened if we say, let's say we have here aluminum nitride? What would be the chemical formula, or sorry, the empirical formula for this? So, in this case, if the molecular formula cannot be reduced or let's say simplified further, it will be also the empirical formula. Parehas lang. Okay? Parehas lang siya. So, many different molecular formula can have the same empirical formula. So, take note that molecular formula is unique to each compound or an element, let's say. But, in terms of empirical formula, it could happen that your molecular formula, despite being a unique one, might have the same empirical formula. And that's happening in what? Empirical formula of what? C2H4, C3H6, and C4H8, wherein iisa lang kanilang empirical formula, and that is CH2. Okay, so we're done with the basics of atoms, ions, and molecular formulas. Okay, so I hope you learned the concepts of isotopes, the way we count for the charges, the differences between cation and an anion, and how to differentiate molecular from empirical formula. Next, we have naming of ions. So this is your periodic table. So actually, your periodic table can be modified, no? Some periodic table doesn't have this format. So this periodic table is ideal, no? Ideal to in determining which is which. What I mean is considering metal at non-metal or metalloids. So as you can see, the pink one governs the entire periodic table. Sakop niya lahat, no? So those are metals, okay? Green one are metalloids, and your blue ones are the non-metals. And take note, your hydrogen is the only non-metal that can be found on the extreme left of the periodic table. Because, as I've said earlier, your cations are positive charges. And cations, okay? So I have a technique whenever writing for cations So I always write it like this one. Paano naman ito? Malaki yung T para alam ko yun yung positive charge, no? Sorry, medyo laggy yung aking mouse. Basta kapag sinusuting cation, capital yung T. I mean, malaki yung T, sorry, not capital. Kapag anion, malaki yung N para negative. Okay? So, take note of this periodic table. So, ituturo ko na rin agad yung charges on how charges are tawag dito, aligned in the periodic table. Okay? So, let's begin. So, actually, without the cation and anion or drawing of shells, we can actually know what would be the charges of that element or that particular element if you have the periodic table. Madali lang siya. Take note this first column will also be known as blank. Okay. So, para interactive tayo dito sa part na to. May mga tawag dyan sa mga columns or groups ng mga element na yan. So, I want you to search for those terms. Example na lang natin. Tawag natin dito sa part na to ay novel gases. Okay? Novel gases yan. Meron dyan part dyan, tawag dyan alkali metal. So, meron part dyan ang tawag sa kanila halogen group. So, try po natin na explore yung periodic table. Okay? Proceed tayo. This one, this column, lahat yan ng elements dyan, hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, may positive 1 charge. Ang beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, lahat yan, positive 2. But, here's the catch. Hindi po tuloy-tuloy yan. Ang tawag sa part na to, this one, yan, yung mahaba niyan, transition metal. So, ang transition metal, hindi sumusunod sa ganong order. So, let's say these are metals. But, varying po yung kanyang electrons. Meaning, paiba-iba, nagbabago po. Pwedeng 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And again, magko-continue siya ulit. So, gawin natin. Dito po, plus 1. Dito po, plus 2. Sir, saan po yung plus 3 ang charge? Pag plus 3 po, transition metal, dito ka sa boron. So, ang 4 natin, hindi plus 4, hindi rin minus 4. Sabihin lang natin siya ay neutral. Okay? Yun yon. After that 4, we have minus 3. Oxygen, minus 2. Fluorine, minus 1. And for our noble gases, we have 0 charge. Sir, bakit po tong bandang carbon na to walang charges? Okay, if we're going to explain that, madali lang naman. Let's say carbon. Carbon has the atomic number of 6, right? So, meaning, ilan ang electron niya? 6 din. If we're going to plot that, 2, then 4, ang magiging valence electron niya ay ilan? 4. Meaning, pwede siyang magbigay, pwede siyang mag-receive equally ng 4 na electrons. To be what? To be either stable as octet or maging duplet siya, sabihin natin, kung ipamimigay niya yung 4. Kaya, wala po tayong charge na nilagay dyan. Let's say, neutral na lang siya dyan. Okay? So, take note of the charges that we have here. Okay? Plus 1 dito. Plus 2. Talon. Plus 3. Plus 4. Minus 4. Sabihin natin, neutral to. Minus 3. Minus 2. Minus 1. 0. Okay? So, rules for naming ions. Take note of this. When metals lose electrons, they become ions, but their name does not change. Meaning, hindi nagbabago ang pangalan ng metal. Tatandaan niyo palagi. Example, sodium. It will become sodium. Okay? Pag magnesium, magnesium pa rin. Okay? So, to make it brief or clear sa inyo, basta yung kulay pink doon sa periodic table kanina, retain ang naming nun. Kumbaga, calcium, calcium, potassium, potassium. Ganun po siya. Okay? So, when non-metals gain electrons, they become ions. So, sa previous topic natin, nasabi ko na ang non-metals ay what? An ion. And an ion are negatively charged no? Meaning, they what? they receive electron or they gain electrons from cations. So, nagbabago po yung name nila. For example, fluorine. Ang fluorine, ang atomic number niyan ay 9. Pag plinat mo yan, 2, 7. Ilan ang kulang niya? Isa. Okay, kaya -1 ang electron niya. Kaya pagka nag-name ka niyan, magiging siya, since non-metal siya, magiging fluoride siya. At meron po siyang minus na charge. Bakit? Isa lang kasi. And take note, kapag isa lang po, no need na natin ilagay na -1. Ako, ideally, kapag 1 lang, di na natin nilalagay. Understood na yun na meron siyang -1 doon. It will become fluoride. How about for sulfur? Magiging siya? S-2 or 2 minus. Sulfide. Stop tayo. Sir, question. Why is it the name may ide? Okay. Matic yun pag non-metal may ide. Okay. Pagka binary nomenclature. Binary nomenclature kasi ang gagawin natin. When we see binary nomenclature, dalawa po yung element. Okay. Etong ide na to, sir, bakit po hindi ginawang fluorinide o kaya sulfuride? Okay. Ako, ang turo ko lang naman ganito. Kapag maganda sa tenga, yun yung tama. So, better pong ang tamang sagot natin, sulfide instead sulfuride. Parang oxygen, it's not oxygenide. It's not nitrogenide. It's what? It's nitride, it's oxide. Ganun lang po. Okay? So, the names of metals do not change. Take note. The changing the name of non-metals, root of element name plus ide, name of ion. Okay? The name of chlorine, for example, it will become chloride. The name of nitrogen, it will become nitride. So, let's practice muna. Yung una, sulfide. So, dito pa lang, alam mo na kung magbabago yung name. Sa charge pa lang, di ba? Kapag ang charge niya negative, alam mo nang non-metal yan. Dapat alam nyo na yon at magbabago yung name. Kapag ka positive, alam nyo retain ng name. Sample, N2 minus, nitride yan. Pag plus, potassium pa rin. Hindi potassiumide, Okay? Pag O2 minus, magiging hindi siya oxygenide, oxide. Lithium, bromide, chloride, not aluminide, aluminum. Nga pala, ang aluminum minsan iba spelling, aluminium. Depende sa originate na country. Minsan kasi British, ganun ang spelling. Okay? Naming of ionic compounds. Okay? So, ionic compounds formed by the transfer of electrons between a metal and a non-metal. So, yung metal na yan, yun yung sodium. Your non-metal is your chlorine. So, at this point, I'm expecting that you are familiar, or let's say, with mastery with the periodic table. Because simply identifying whether the element is metal or non-metal can contribute to mastery of naming compounds. Kasi for example, sodium chloride, if you know that sodium is a metal and your chlorine is a non-metal, you have the idea on how to name this sodium chloride na. Kasi alam mo na ang unang element is a metal, therefore it will never change its name, and the second one is a non-metal, therefore it will change its name. So, formed by the sharing of electrons between non-metal atoms, and that is covalent. Pag covalent compound naman po, compared to ionic compound that has a metal and non-metal, covalent po parehang non-metal. Okay? And we have a different rule in naming covalent compound. So, rules for naming ionic compounds. Write the name of the metal ion, write the name of the non-metal ion. Paano? Una po lagi ang metal ion versus non-metal ion. Kasi nga binary to. Ibig sabihin, yung nauna dito na calcium is what? Your metal. Your non-metal is bromine. Okay. Anong name niyan? Magiging siya? Calcium, not brominide. Bromide. Okay, tuturuan ko na kayo agad paano mag-chemical formula writing dito. Okay. Paano naging CABR to? Okay. You have to be familiar with the elements charges. Previously, tinuro natin yan sa periodic table, where in your calcium, nasa ang group siya? Group number 2 yan. Ang bromine, ano yan? Group number -7 yan. I mean, yung charges yun, sorry, not the group, sorry. Okay? So, ako ang technique ko, kina-cross multiply ko, ginaganyan ko lang. Okay? So, kung wari, sa CA, anong charge sa kabila? Diba 2? Mapupunta sa kanya yung 2 plus. Sa bromine, anong charge niya? Pag wala nakalagay, 1 yon. Ibig sabihin, 1 minus yon. So, pag multiply mo yung calcium and bromide, kuwari, Ca2 plus Br1 minus, pag mo siya, cross-multiply, it will give you calcium bromide. Okay? What does it mean? Diba dito ang calcium na to? Sabi dito, 2 plus. Ibig sabihin, dalawang electron ang pamimigay niya. Ang bromine, anong ibig sabihin ng minus 1 na yan? Isa lang ang kailangan niya electron. Kaya siya naging CeBr2, meaning, it will need what? One calcium atom, itong calcium atom na yon, to stabilize two bromine atoms. Kaya Br2 to. Kasi nga, ang kulang ng bromine ilan? Isa lang. Eh, ang charge ng calcium, dalawa. Kaya binibigyan niyo yung isa, then magkikreate ka pa ng isa pang, bromine. Bibigyan niya dito sa isa. Kaya CaBr2 yan. Okay? Baka kasi nalilito kayo dun sa part na yan. So, let's practice. Write the name of the following ionic compounds. Okay? So, let's say, nagtingin po kayo sa periodic table, strontium chloride. Bakit? Kasi po, pag cross-multiply nyo siya, pag ganyan, ang SR, anong charge yan? 2 plus. Ang chlorine, minus 1. Magnesium oxide. Sir, bakit yan? Dapat 2 yan eh. Okay, good point. Tingnan nyo gagawin ko Mg. O. Pag tinignan mo sa periodic table, anong charge ng Mg? Plus 2 yan. Or 2 plus. Ang oxygen, 2 minus. Sir, diba dapat po Mg2O2? Okay. Pag parehas naman po ng charges, tinatanggalan natin, hindi na natin sinusulat. Bakit po? Ano kaya ang rule yon? Empirical formula. Diba, pwede pa natin siyang gawing simplest form. Therefore, yung Mg2O2, pwede mong gawin lang siyang MgO na lang. Parang ito, calcium oxide. Bakit? Ang calcium 2 plus, ang oxygen 2 minus. So, instead writing at Ca2O2, simplified mo na lang na empirical, magiging CaO. Lastly, we have lithium sulfide, Li2S. Okay? So, we're done with the basics of naming ionic compounds. So, let's tackle polyatomic ions. So, polyatomic ions are a group of two or more atoms that are bonded together. So, in that case, these common polyatomic ions, let's say we have here ammonium, acetate, cyanide, may charges yung mga yan. And it tells you kung saan siya ipoposition sa binary nomenclature. Kapag positive, you know that it's located dun sa unang name niya. Kumbaga siya yung parang acting as a metal. Okay? Gets yun? Kapag negative, siya yung parang non-metal. Carry a positive or a negative charge. So the atoms in the ion act as a single unit in chemical reactions. Okay. So I know somewhat it's quite difficult to memorize this, but sa exam naman, ginibigay naman to. But I have a technique wherein napapamiliarize ko yung sarili ko regarding kung anong klaseng polyatomic ion tong binabasa ko. So, in this case, bigyan ko kayo ng clue or ng parang mnemonics to eh. Pag nitrite, NO2. Diba? NO2 yan. Pag nitrate, NO3. Okay. Minapansin kayo? Ano nagbago? Yung number of atoms sa oxygen. Pag sulfite, SO3. Pag sulfate, SO4. Bakit? Ako, pag nakita ko na pong nitrate ay NO3, automatically, alam ko sa utak ko, yung nitrite, NO2. Bakit? Yung word na ate or 8, mas matanda, diba? So, mas matanda siya sa'yo ng isa. Parang ganon. So, kung wari, meron kang chloride. Kung ClO2 to, automatic yung chloride, ClO3. Naiintindihan yon? But, hindi lagi ganun yung case. For example, nito, may perchlorate pa nga diba? Naiba na po siya. So, at least may idea po tayo dito. Kaya nitrite, kasi mas matanda yung NO3. Kapag ka sulfate, mas matanda siya SO4 compared sa sulfite na SO3. So, ito po ay nilalagay po sa naming. Actually, ito pinaka-common na ginagamit na metal. Parang metal, no, sa naming. Kasi siya lang yung positive charge na nandito, ammonium. The rest are negative. So, write the name of the cation, then write the name of an ion. Of the anion. Okay, calcium sulfate. Okay, calcium sulfate. Ganun lang po siya. Okay, kung titignan natin, ano bang charge ng sulfate? Diba 2 minus? Ang calcium ano? Diba 2 plus? Kaya po, hindi po ginawang ano yan, ano, Ca2SO4 na ganito. Kumbaga, empirical formula niya na yan. Tinanggal na natin tong 2. Question. Sir, ba't tayo naglalagay ng parenthesis? Okay, in that case kasi kung 2 to, nilagay mo siya dito, baka pag walang parenthesis, maging 42 yan. So, para magkaroon ka ng division. And also, it signifies that parenthesis is yung mayroong distributive property na ito ay madidistribute among the entire term sa loob ng parenthesis. Isa pa, NH4. Anong charge ulit ng NH4? This is read as ammonia. Diba? Plus yan, diba? Plus 1. Ang fluorine, minus 1. So, kapag parehas, di na natin nilalagay yung kanyang charges sa kumbaga sa molecular formula niya. So, ammonium chloride. Okay? Let's try. So, we have here magnesium and nitrate. So, nitrate po tong NO3. Kung titignan natin, ang magnesium, anong charge niyan? Plus 2. Ang nitrate, ano? Minus 1. So, pag cross multiply mo yan, magiging Mg1 NO3. Ba't may parenthesis? Kasi itong plus 2, kailangan ma-separate siya sa nitrate mismo. Kaya ganyan siya, magnesium nitrate. Ito, sodium hydroxide. Ito, magnesium sulfate. Bakit? Kasi yung Mg plus 2, yung sulfate minus 2. Ito, potassium permanganate. Kasi parehong plus 1 minus 1. Charge nito, minus 1. Ito, plus 1. Di ba madali lang? Ganun lang din magsulat ng formula. Baliktaran lang sila. So, write the name of the transition metal cation with a charge written using Roman numeral in parentheses. So, by the way, this part is a transition metal part na to. Okay. Turuan ko kayo. Yung the blue one are the transition metal. As I've said earlier in our previous discussion, transition metals are what? Have varying electrons. Okay. Kapag iba-iba yung electron, iba-iba yung charges nila. Kasi ang charge niya ay nakabase sa valence electron. Sa kanyang valence shell or outermost layer shell. Madali lang to. Write the name of the cation with the charge written using Roman numerals in parentheses. Write the name of the anion. For example, FeCl3. Okay. So, this is read as iron 3 chloride. Sir, paano nangyari yun? Okay. Dapat may idea na kayo na ganito. Na pag cross multiply mo siya pabalik, yung iron, magkakaroon ng anong charge? Plus 3. Ang chlorine, minus 1. Kaya FeCl3 yan. Kasi po, saan galing yung 3 ng chlorine? Sa positive 3 ng iron. Kaya pag niname natin siya iron 3 chloride, indicating that your Roman numeral 3 is the charge of this iron. Okay? Copper sulfate. Ano kaya yan? Dapat po, alam din natin, anong siya sulfate? Charge sa sulfate, minus 2. So, kung wala po tayo nakitang gano'n, na parang walang nalagay na ka-subscript, sabihin, ba't naging copper 2 sulfate yan? Meaning, your copper has what? Positive 2. Nang cross multiply mo sila, naging sila? Cu2 plus SO4, diba? Pero, lalagyan mo ng parenthesis, then yung 2 nandito. Tama? Diba, pag parehas naman, tinatanggalan natin. Kaya, CuSO4 na lang. Practice. Cu3PO42. Ibig sabihin yan, anong charge ng phosphate mo? Minus 3. Ang copper mo, plus 2. Kaya, copper phosphate yan. Copper 2 phosphate. Ito, mercury oxide. Ibig sabihin ng 2 saan galing to? Sa oxygen, minus 2. Dito may 1. So, mercury 1 yan. Mercury 1 oxide. Next, we have chromium, 3. Ibig sabihin, ang charge nito plus 3. Ito, minus 1 kasi wala. Chromium 3 chloride. So, madali lang naman siya intindihin. I hope na intindihan yung technique na yon. Cross multiply. Pwedeng pabalik, pwedeng pa diretso. yung pabalik ko, ginagamit ko yung pabalik para dito sa transition metal kasi para alam ko paano ko siya i-name based sa Roman numeral number. And yung Roman numeral number kasi nakabase sa charge ng transition metal. So, recap tayo. Plus 1 po ang ion or charge dito. Ito, plus 2, plus 3. Diba? O, nasan ang minus 1 nandito? Minus 2, minus 1. 0 po yung novel gas, diba? Natatandaan natin. At yung ating carbon ay technically neutral yon. So, writing chemical formulas of ionic compounds. So, kanina na-discuss natin to, yung parang fast track. Tayo naman ngayon ay parang naka step by step. Write the symbol of the metal ion, write the symbol of the non-metal ion, following the binary nomenclature, meaning una yung metal, followed by non-metal. Determine the charges using the periodic table, determine the formula from the ions. Magnesium iodide. So, nasaan po siya? Check nyo po siya. So, ang magnesium po ay 2 plus or plus 2. Ang iodine or iodide ay under halogen group. So, mayroon siyang negative 1. Cross multiply MgI2. Ganon kasimple. Okay? So, I know may mastery na tayo dito kasi naturo na to kanina. Proceed tayo. Potassium bromide. Okay? KBr. Bakit? Anong charge sa potassium? Plus 1. Ang bromine, minus 1. Sodium chloride. Tama. Plus 1, minus 1. Kaya pag cross multiply mo, wala. How about the lithium nitride? Okay. Sa lithium po, plus 1 lang yan. Sa nitrogen, diba minus 3. Kaya pag cross multiply mo ang Li tsaka N na may negative charge na 3, magiging ang negative 3 mapupunta sa subscript ng lithium. Kaya Li3N. Gets? Strontium sulfide SRS. Bakit? Kasi ang strontium may plus 2, ang sulfide minus 2. Pag dalawa, magiging SR2S2. Empirical formula ruling, simplified, matatanggal, magiging SRS. Next, steps for writing chemical formulas of ionic compounds with atomic ions. Parehas lang din kanina. Metal, then the atomic ion, in vice versa. Kasi meron tayong ammonium, yung ammonia natin, kasi diba yun yung parang metal ion. The rest kasi para siyang non-metal counterpart. Yun yung mga may negative charges. Determine the charges using the periodic table. Determine the formula from the ions. Example, strontium nitrate. Ang charge ng strontium ay 2 plus. Ang nitrate ay 2 minus. So, we're now familiar that we have same charges. Marerepel yan. Magiging siya, SrNO3 na lang. Okay? Hindi SR2NO3 parenthesis tas may 2. No. Practice. Barium sulfate. Magiging siya? PaSO4. Sodium carbonate. Na2CO3. O, saan galing? Ang sodium po, anong charge yan? Plus 1. Ang carbonate po, anong charge? 2 minus. Pag cross multiply mo, Na, mapupunta itong 2, Na2, CO3. Kaya wala na po tayo. No need na natin maglagay ng parenthesis pag 1 ha. Understood na yon. Then, lastly, we have potassium permanganate. KMnO4. Steps for writing chemical formulas of ionic compounds with transition metals. Write the symbol of the transition metal cation. Write the symbol of the anion. But you need to determine the charges using the periodic table and Roman numeral. And that will serve as your naming technique in naming. Kasi kung ano yung charge ng ating transition metal, yun yung Roman numeral na malagay nyo. Baliktad naman dito kasi given naman yung name, gagawin yung formula. And medyo baka malito kayo. Ang iron 3, Fe3+. Ang oxygen, O2-. Pag sinulat mo yung chemical formula, pabaliktad na. Common mistake kasi to. Ang nangyayari kasi, baka kasi ang gawin nyo, Fe3 oxide. Ganyan na lang. Mamamali kayo na. So, dapat, cross multiply mo pa rin kasi yung Roman numeral dito ay charge lang naman. Write the formula of the following ionic compounds. O, tin 4 chloride. O, alam mo na ano yan. SN4 uncharged, then chloride. magiging SnCl4. Bakit? Ito ay -1, ito ay +4. Copper carbonate. O, ba't naging CoCo? Kasi ang carbonate ay -2, ang copper ay +2, hindi na siya maging Cu2, CO32. Gallium nitride, saan galing? Ang nitrogen ay merong -3, ang gallium ay 1, cross multiply. Yan, no? Yun lang po. Ay, paki-double check lang kung nasaan yung gallium. Parang mali ako. Hindi charge nito ay +3, sorry. I think hindi +3. Sorry, +3 nga, sorry. Yun lang. Tama pala ito. Okay. Pasensya na po. Okay, double check nyo na lang. Narito lang ako ante. So, for the last topic, we have covalent compounds. So, again, covalent compounds formed by sharing of electrons between non-metal atoms. Meaning, non-metals can share electrons in different ways. And for covalent compounds, instead of having your ions na metal then plus non-metal, dito parehong non-metal. Okay? Yan. It can create multiple compounds together. Napakarami ng covalent compound. Here, you need to memorize these prefixes. So when naming covalent compounds, prefixes are used to establish the correct ratio between the non-metal elements. So the prefixes here, as indicated, check nyo, pag mono, isa. Ibig sabihin, kung ngari, N3, ano siya? Tri siya ang gagamitin mo. Trinitrogen. Tapos pag may O2, ano siya? Trinitrogen dioxide. So, may rule pa rin po tayo dyan Ito yon. Prefixes are only for binary covalent compounds. The prefix mono is never used on the first element of a binary covalent compound. Take note of that. Because mono will be only used sa second element. Without a prefix, it is assumed that there is only one atom for your first element. Remove the O or A from a prefix before adding it to oxide. Kasi kapag ang oxide, for example, ito, basa dito, yan ay monooxide, pag isa. Pag dalawa, dioxide. Pag 3, tetraoxide. Pag tetraoxide, hindi na siya tetra. Hindi siya tetraoxide Tatanggalin daw natin yung A or O. Pagka A and O, tinatanggal natin yung A, magiging tetroxide siya. Parang pentaoxide. Kuwari O5. Pentaoxide, diba? Magiging ano siya? Pentoxide. Kapag O4, hindi siya tetraoxide, magiging ano siya? Tetroxide. Kaya po, pag nag-name tayo, example ito, carbon dioxide ang tawag dyan. Hindi po siya monocarbon dioxide. Kapag CO, it's carbon monoxide, not carbon monooxide. Magiging ano siya dapat? Since magkadikit yung O, tatanggalin mo yung isang O. Mali rin po yung monocarbon monooxide Naku, tigilan nyo Practice. Write the correct prefixes for the oxides. Ready, set, go. Pag mono, monoxide. Pag dioxide. Pag I naman po hindi nagmamatter. Trioxide, tetroxide, o penta, mawawala yung A, pentoxide. Hexa, mawawala yung A, maging hexoxide. Hepta, maging heptoxide. Octa, octoxide. Nona, nonoxide. And deca, decoxide. Sir, may 11 pa ba? Meron pa actually. Yun yung andeca. Magiging ano siya, andecoxide. Pag 12, dodecoxide. Meron pa nga 15 kumbaga, nag-a-add lang siya. Ina-add lang natin itong mga prefix na to dun sa deca. Okay? Steps for naming covalent compounds. Write the name of the first nonmetal, write the name of the second nonmetal, but you have to change the end into IDE. Parehas na rule sa covalent compound. But take note dito sa naming ng first nonmetal, gumagamit tayo ng prefix instead na babaguhin sila. Hindi sila nagkakaroon ng IDE sa first nonmetal. Meron lang silang prefix. Dito sa second element natin, which is the second nonmetal, may IDE na, may prefix pa. Add prefix to specify how many of each element are present. Sample. Eto, ilang nitrogen yan? 2. Kaya dinitrogen. Take note, hindi dinitride ha. Dinitrogen, yung ide mag-a-add lang yun sa second element. So, magiging ano to? Tetraoxide? No. Tetroxide. Gets? So, kung wari, meron kang S3F2. Ang basa dyan, since tatlo to, trisulfide difluoride. Tama ba yon? Hindi. Sabi ko nga kanina, yung IDE natin, hindi po applicable sa unang element. So, dapat to, instead of trisulfide, magiging siya, trisulfur difluoride. Okay? Isa pang example. Eto, 4 na nitrogen, 5 iodine. So, it is read as tetranitrogen, not tetranitride. Again, tetranitrogen, then yung I, magiging iodide, penta-iodide. Okay, sample. O, carbon dioxide, good. Next. O, dalawa, diphosphorus, not diphosphide, diphosphorus pentasulfide. This one, phosphorus tribromide and dinitrogen monosulfide. In writing chemical formulas of covalent compound, it is much more easier. Kasi example, kung alam mo na yung prefix, dinitrogen tetrafluoride, alam mo na agad, dinitrogen, N2, tetrafluoride, F4. Tapos, napakadali. So, kung nga may pangalan tayo, ano sabihin natin, ano? Octa sulfide. O, octasulfide, alam mo na agad na S8 yun. Monoxide, S8O. Okay? Isa pa, sabihin natin, tribromine, Br3 dichloride, Cl2. Ganun lang po siya. Ang mahirap dito, pag nagsama-sama lahat yan, baka kasi marito kayo sa naming, yung rule dapat ng covalent napunta sa ionic, yung ionic napunta dito sa covalent. Let's practice one more time. Carbon tetrachloride, magiging ano siya? O, carbon, hindi monocarbon, di ba? CCl4. Dinitrogen, N2, monosulfide S, N2S. Iodine heptafluoride, magiging IF7. And lastly, disulfur hexabromide, S2Br6. Okay, that's all for our recorded discussion. Please watch this recording kasi it will be included in our examination. It could be either in our midterm or our general assessment. So, if you have questions, please raise your questions during our class discussions. Thank you for your listening. I hope na natutunan natin to. Although mabilis, pakibagalan na lang natin to sa recordings natin. Okay? Yun lamang po and thank you.